this past week I was prioritizing rest and just doing the things that I enjoyed. And today I want to dedicate a lot of time to my work because some things accumulated. I have some new deadlines. I actually have a list of things I wanted to do in my little notebook that I brought with me. I have some administration things, some emails that accumulated over the last days to respond. New deadlines for a couple of books and other projects. And also I think most of all, I want to dedicate today to work on my own book. This is something I haven't really talked much about on here on my channel or neither on my Instagram account, but I've been working for the last few years already on my book, my own book that I wrote together with my husband. I am very close to finishing it, which is really exciting, but also very stressful for me because it simply gets more real and serious right now. So today it's gonna be just about that. The most excitement that I will get is to maybe go out and, I don't know, buy bread or get a coffee or something like that. Still, I want to keep it relaxed. I want to keep it nice, put on some music and just have a nice time working. And also my dog Lupe is here, so we are going to be all here together working.
Faltan dos. No.
I just went through my emails. I still have a couple of them left. I answered my clients. There will be a few magazine features about me and my work, so I answered those as well. Soon I will begin the fun part and my work and the illustration and so on. I also scheduled for myself a blood test appointment for tomorrow morning early on. So for sure afterwards, I'm just going to treat myself a nice breakfast to make up for the suffering, I guess. And yeah, that's it. Okay, very quickly, I want to show you what I'm working on. This is like a part of the spread that I have. And what I've been doing basically this whole time, because most of my illustrations are done, but the contrast is still too low. So I imagine that once we print it out, and depending on the paper, and probably it will be matte, the contrast between the elements is going to be lower. So I'm trying to raise it up as much as I can right now. Basically make sure that in print, Lupita, that in the print everything goes well. So I'm just working on those details that are very important, I think, to make it look as good as it can. So for example, right now I'm working on this part. I increased the contrast here, and I'm adding more colors because there's one spread that is already like super finished and done, and there's nothing to be changed there. So I'm using this as my template and basically making sure, like, proofing the pages to make sure that they match one another and they go well with each other. I haven't found the right spot yet where to place a camera and so on. Right now I'm working, and I'm not filming this. I'm working on the terrace outside because it's beautiful. And I am revising some documents. I am responding emails. But right now, the plan for today is to ideally finish one video. So I want to continue with my own book that I already told you about, which is super exciting. And there's like a lot of side quests to this project, which make me really happy. I think it's really interesting, and I feel very grateful and happy that I get to do something on my own, doing things my way, how I want them to be done, and not necessarily bend into someone else's preferences, because that sometimes happens. And yep, I think that's it for today. Ooh, that's a big bag. Okay, so basically we can assume that a big chunk of your time as a freelancer, as an independent artist, goes to social media. This is our selling effort. This is what we do to market ourselves, our work, show the world and the clients who we are and what we do and what they can hire us for. Something that I know artists do is not being, I think, my opinion, respectful enough of their own time. Most of the time, in my experience and also in the experience of fellow illustrators with whom I talk, a client, a potential client, someone who hasn't signed you yet, might request you to jump on a call. The idea of gifting your professional time to someone who hasn't committed to you yet professionally. Basically, what I mean by that is that it's very easy to say that, hey, let's jump on a call or let's have a call and let's talk about it. But I always, see those calls as 30 minutes, because they are always at least 30 minutes that of your time that you won't get back and you won't be paid for. And this is something that I often talk about with the artists that I coach, because we talk about strategies, about approaching new clients, about dealing with some difficult situations that happen with the clients, because they always do, because, we are just people and the world is imperfect, and just, there always is some situation that we face that maybe not the be the perfect one. But very often, and also it happened when I was both represented and also right now when I work and operate on my own, those calls are being kind of offered right and left. And it's not that I'm opposed to them if having those calls prior to signing an agreement work for you. That's perfect. But I just think it's very easy to include all the important information and to communicate, especially at the beginning when there's a lot of administration stuff, there's a lot of negotiation going on, there's price negotiation, there are agreement and the terms negotiation, there is the whole scope negotiation. Those are all the things that are better to be done in writing. Calls can be stressful for some people are shy, some people are very introverted, some people don't do small talks. Artists sometimes can be weird, and I mean it in the best way possible, because I am a weirdo and my husband knows it and everyone knows it, and I think it's the best way to be. From time to time, of course, I will take those calls, but honestly, if I think about it, I can't remember of a single project that came out of those first calls that we had before signing an agreement and actually, committing to this client illustrator partnership. I know that some illustrators that I talk to, this is something that they offer, and they say it allows the client to feel closer to you. It allows the client to see your human side and to talk to you and to see that you are real and how you are as a person. And of course, I understand it, the whole personal aspect of it. But honestly, this is not what we are being paid for. This is not why we are being hired for. If you're nice and I don't know, you're pretty and you do great on calls, that's great. That's, I guess, something that will work well for you. But we don't need all those qualities to do well our illustration job. And this is why I mentioned the social media, because I remember we talked about it with some artists and I was like, why are you offering those calls, or why you're accepting those calls with potential clients who aren't yet your clients because you haven't signed an agreement, you haven't started working together, you haven't been paid the first installment for the project. And I say, well, this is a sales effort for me. And I always think that we are already doing those sales effort by being active on social media, by sharing your work, maybe by sending cold emails, maybe by doing some extra reach outs to, I don't know, your potential clients. First call, you don't really need it for a client to understand the value and see the potential in your work. They should already see that in your portfolio and what you do and your skills in the projects that you've created in the past. This is why it's so important to keep your portfolio nice, neat, organized, and up to date, so that your work speaks for yourself, and you can really focus well your sales effort on, more globally. So once again, social media or your website, something online, something that can be seen by a large group of people, rather than dedicating a full 30-minute section of your time to just one client who most probably won't become your client in the end. Because I think it's very important just how we manage our time, how we organize our time, and how we choose to spend it, and also, put to good use in a sense. Let's go back to work. I really hope you can hear me right now, because there's a lot of noises outside. And yeah, I'm just not gonna be sitting indoors with weather like this. Actually, you for sure noticed that for the past few days, I've been working in this little tiny studio on the terrace. And it's a very funny story, because There is, this small studio has an AC, but I didn't want to switch it on. I think it's just too early. It's unnecessary. So I always, I ventilate and I have all the windows and all the doors open. But whenever I have my meetings with the artists that I coach, I close everything so that we are more comfortable and just to make sure that all the noises, the outside noises don't come through. But the thing is that when you close all the windows and all the doors, it is it is like a sauna in there. And it was really hot, and so everybody with whom I had meetings was laughing that why am I so sweaty, or it was very hot in there, and I was like trying to survive inside. It was very funny. After I had my first few meetings in there, I realized I can't, survive it without having at least a window open. So I started opening those, and but still, it was pretty warm in there. So whenever I can, I just work outside.